What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back, guys. I had people messaging me all day to say, Ben, you made the right choice. Because I canceled my J&D Joker, thankfully, before it arrived, and I lost all my money. I'm going to tell you guys why I canceled this figure. We're going to look at the photos today and talk about it. So stick around. If you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get into it.
I give you Ben Thomas Showtime. Here we go.
Okay, everybody, so let's first start by saying I didn't know many collectors that were actually going to invest in this figure. I think one of the only other YouTuber friends that I have out in the world that was considering it was Will Fox Vacation Channel. Shout out to Will. And he and I have had this banter back and forth for a period of time because we both thought that the cost of this was absolutely insane. And speaking for myself, I just thought it was bonkers when I looked at the $16.99 price tag US dollars, converted that to Canadian, and realized that's a $2,400 figure for me. That doesn't include any shipping or any of those types of things, customs fees if I have to worry about that. So in Canada, this was wildly stupid to consider purchasing, but I'm a huge Joker fan. Heath Ledger's Joker is one of my, if not my favorite movie villain of all time, and I've always been in the pursuit of having the best iteration, at least up to this point. Now, I started with my DX11 Joker, and I freaking love that figure from back in the day because, I mean, look at the head sculpt. Like, this is how you do a laughing head sculpt. It was beautiful. The likeness was fantastic for the DX11 of its time. But then, of course, at that period, I had missed the original pre-order window for DX11, and I had to pay $1,000 Canadian back then for him, and I thought that was crazy. And then InArt came to the town, and of course, people debated their pricing like crazy as well, including myself, because two figures that were paywalled, essentially, if you wanted the rooted hair and the jail cell diam and all of that good stuff, was going to be a significant investment, at least about $500 when you break it down, over $1,000. And people went crazy for that because, of course, that's getting into territory that most collectors do not want to be spending in, if at all possible. That's a lot of your standard figures, maybe even 3 to 4 other releases that you could consider for the price of two Jokers. But as time has gone on, we've gotten conditioned to different pricing that we can expect for 6 scale. And when J&D throw their hat in the ring and say, we're going to have better than InArt and Hot Toys, you would expect that to be the case. And when they showed us the prototypes, and we're going to show prototype photos in a second, when they showed us the prototype photos, I'm not going to lie, I thought it looked pretty good. I did comparisons of the InArt face of the prototype of J&D and Hot Toys, and what I could collect on the internet and compare photos, I thought it did look pretty decent. At least this particular face, the more stern face. There's definitely elements of Heath Ledger in there, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this doesn't look like Heath Ledger, but for the price, once again, absolutely friggin' bonkers. And I would say the tailoring here that I'm seeing in a final product on J&D is not very good. It does not look well tailored, especially considering he's got multiple layers and everything. Look at the collars, how it popped up at the corners, brutal for the price. Some of the angles I do see Heath Ledger in here, especially at the side. I don't think that the hairline unfortunately receded enough. The coloration of the hair looks okay, but I don't think that the hair sculpting or the rooting that they've done here really looks any superior, if not at all superior, to what we've seen in the past for now significantly cheaper price points. It just does not look great, and it's such a boring figure because what I was hoping for was hyper realistic, Andy. Something that you would be like, oh my god, that is Heath Ledger in the Joker makeup, unquestionably. Look at this photo. This is a custom photo. This is the artist that I've chosen to go with. Now, he made this sculpt, and this one was no longer available anymore, but there's a 2.0 version coming, and I paid $700 for this one. $700 versus $1,700 for this figure. Now, I've got two in-art bodies behind me as well as Hot Toys bodies, so I'm going to kind of kit bash it together a little bit. This is a lot of money still for just a head sculpt when you think about it, and I'm not even advocating for this seller yet because I haven't got this on hand. So will the quality be less and I'll feel ripped off then? Maybe. If it's amazing, I'm also willing to tell you guys, paid with my own money. So let's have an honest review about this particular sculpt when it comes in for me. But this, even in a Canadian conversion, is $1,000, which means that by going the custom route, which I think this looks shockingly realistic, that I'm saving myself $1,400 Canadian before customs charges for a custom route. J&D needed to smash this release because they've been a joke of the 1/6 scale community now for what, a year? They needed to smash the hell out of this early because they've got a Catwoman on the way. They've got that Batman with the armory piece on the way. Will anybody buy those now? Are everybody going to pull out? Now, the downfall, of course, of me canceling this order, even though people said, again, oh, Ben, I think you made the right choice, which I feel that, to be honest, because I don't think I would have ever recouped my money. Can you imagine me paying $2,400 Canadian or $1,700 US dollars? And this coming to my collection and it being laughing stock of the community for this price point, to the point where would I get half if I put it back online? Now, I know J&D typically still sells out, and there's still a market for J&D collectors out there for sure, but are they in Alberta, Canada? Because otherwise I'm taking a bath. I'm taking an absolute bath on this. I would lose more money on this than that custom sculpt was going to cost me. So it was a better gamble. But I went through 1/6 kit on my order for this, again, being here in Canada, but I've had lots of experience with Kit so far, and I've always had a really good experience with him. I knew I was going to lose my $255 NRD, so that was good. But I didn't get embroiled in the controversy of this figure otherwise, which I've heard some other folks out there in the community have had. That controversy being that maybe they won't get their full deposit back, which is wild. I don't want to comment on that because it's not really my story to tell, but for me, went through Kit, losing my NRD, which is an absolute punch in the gut because, again, $255, so that's over $300 Canadian that I've just thrown off the balcony, canceling this. But wow, I'm freaking happy I canceled it. Are there elements of this that I like? Sure. But I mean, even like the fact that InArt came with those seamless forearms for the character in the box that had this particular outfit, right? If you know, the D-Robe version in the jail cell, he had those beautiful wrists and hands that were still, in my opinion, some of the best painted hand sculpts that I have in my collection. This guy doesn't even look like his hands are painted as well, like, which once again blows my freaking mind. It blows my mind. And this smiling sculpt is not good. It's not good. It's ridiculous. Once again, my Hot Toys DX11 Joker, his laughing face from back in the day, I think is far superior to this. This is creepy. It doesn't look like Heath Ledger when he's smiling. I don't know what face they were going with. I didn't like the prototype for this one either, but that worse somehow. And I mean, if you put the glove hands on, look at the ugly ass wrist peg on the body. Like, what happened to the hyper realistic concept? You know, that like silicone skin under the face, and you know, we're going for this hyper realistic look and everything. It's gonna look like a human standing there. Then he's got these visible ass wrist joints popping out. I mean, yeah, I guess they have to put him on a body of some sort. But you'd think for $1,700 they'd figure out a way to, I don't know, make it seamless somehow. I don't even know. Maybe it's not possible. The dogs actually, I think, are the best part of the set. I think they look the best, truthfully. Here we see the prototype and the production on both sides of the screen. I still think the prototype looked better. I think it looks more like Heath Ledger. The production version looks worse. It does. To me, at least. So oddly enough, I do actually like the profile with the production hair better. Because to me, that looks like the scene where he's standing in the street. More than the picture on the left, the prototype. So from the side profile, I think it looks better. I think the hair looks better just overall on the prototype from what I'm seeing, but it is certainly more tailored in the production version. I mean, I think the Joker too, he's got wild hair throughout the movie, so depending on the scene, I guess, that you're going with the most, both could have, you know, decent applications. This is the smiling head sculpt from the side. It really changed the look of this one. Oddly enough, the profile of the body looks different, but maybe that's in the tailoring. And if so, the tailoring does look better on the production, at least in this version. Or like with the jacket off. It's an ugly ass figure. It is super ugly. This is the first chance I've had to actually go through this in this much detail, because I looked at it on my phone today in a work meeting, and I was like, oh man. And you know, the worst part when you're kind of hoping for folks to be wrong. You know, you're kind of hoping that like there's that one piece of folks out there that when they see this finally get announced for release, that everybody's like, oh my god, I missed that. Yup. This isn't one of those figures. People are laughing at the folks who are still pulling the trigger on this, because in my opinion, there's significantly better options out there. And if you're going to pay this kind of, do what I did, go with the custom route. The prototype to production on the dog looks good, but like, okay. I never wanted these dogs to begin with. They were a nice thing to have, and subtly changed some of the accessories that came against the other competition. But I mean, Jesus, that's really realistic. I did not realize this thing had balls. Oh my god. It's anatomically correct. Yeah. I mean, I guess fair. My dog pool had, which I thought that was hilarious too. So, way she goes. The mouth does look crazy and growly. I don't know. The dogs are. I like the, not because they're anatomically correct, but more just because they're cool and fuzzy looking. Like look how fuzzy he looks. Not pet worthy, but yeah. I don't know. The likeness looks better on the prototype. And even still, I didn't think the prototype was hyper realistic. And at the time when I pulled the trigger on this, a year ago, I didn't really know what customizers to go with, what route to go on, and even trying to pursue a custom sculpt. I was worried I'd lose my money buying overseas that way, because it's easy to pay a customizer money and then they're gone, right? Their Facebook disappears or their Instagram disappears. Like, have we created a new subculture of folks that, instead of the glad I waited folks, it's now the I'm glad I canceled folks? Because I'm glad I canceled at this moment. Which is mind-boggling. I did not expect to be saying that, at least as confidently as I am. I was worried the whole time that I had this order and that I was going to get burnt, but do you think that this is the end of J&D Studios 6 scale? Like, do you think we'll see cancellations of the other two figures? Because again, if they were trying to go after people's deposits and now are being blasted, I'm sure they'll go back on it, but even still, like, they've put up money to get this thing to this stage, and if some of the main folks out there in the community, including, influencer folks, are canceling theirs as well, are they doomed? Like, it was a wild price point to begin with. I think we all thought they were doomed from the get-go, because most people don't want to even pay in-art prices. Like, even me, honestly, artisan prices lately. That artisan Jack Sparrow popped up on my waitlist conversion today in my email. And I was like, oh, okay, sweet, maybe I'll get it. And I pulled it up, and it's going to be $759 Canadian. And I was like, you know what? I love Jack Sparrow, and I love Pirates of the Caribbean. But when was the last time I even watched Pirates of the Caribbean? And if I were to, it would be the Black Pearl film, the first movie, which is the Jack Sparrow I probably then want more as a result for $700. No. So I let the waitlist conversion go. Somebody out there in the world will be happy, I'm sure, that they get it, and not me, but nope. It's too much money, and collecting has gotten insane lately. I didn't do any top 2024 lists this year or anything, all of that. I didn't do one because there was just so much stuff that came out, and even the things that I brought to my collection, you may not have brought to yours. So happy to give you guys my perspective, or you can save it for Let's Get Nuts. Let's Get Nuts will be back this Sunday, so stay tuned for the first show of 2025. Guys, this is the J&D Joker. Glad I canceled. Be more strategic. Don't pull a Ben. Don't do what I've been doing lately, which has been pre-ordering figures and then canceling them. Like last week, I canceled Han Solo because as much as I want a Han Solo, I'm really hoping they give us an Empire Strikes Back 2.0 at some point. I don't have the Endor setup for Luke. Return of the Jedi I love, but it's still my second favorite film in the original trilogy, so like it felt like I could pass on it. And by getting a Han Solo, I was gonna need a Chewbacca, so then that's an additional investment. So I canceled Han Solo and I canceled my sculpted Jack Sparrow. And again, even there, it was over $100 lost. So like, in the last month, I've combined at least lost $450 worth of NRDs just because I'm trying to keep up with things that I really want. And there is so much more cool shit to come. It's crazy. So save your money for the stuff that like means the most to you. Do the calculus. Is it a top film? Is it a top character? Is it a combination of a couple of those things that give you that like nostalgic punch in the chest? Because if it's not, if you just think it's cool now, you're going to lose money, or at the very least have some buyer's regret when your collection starts to get overstuffed and you're like, shit, now I need to make some space for things that I really want, like that Xenomorph. I'm so excited to get one of those eventually, and I'm so excited to get the Terminator battle damage version or the T-1000. Like there's other characters that I cannot wait to have. As much as I love Jack Sparrow, is he a #1 character or is he a top 50 character? Well, I already have 63 characters surrounding me. Some of you guys have hundreds. How do we keep up? Don't be dumb like me and lose your money on NRDs. Doesn't make sense. So I'm in a good spirit. Save money on this one. We dodged a bullet, guys. What are your thoughts on the Joker? Sorry, I just happened to rant and stop clicking on photos. It's a chill Friday night. I just wanted to give you guys a video before the end of the week. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, hit the like button for me. If you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more from me in 2025. Again, reminder, Let's Get Nuts. We'll be back this Sunday, January the 5th. So stay tuned. Here with the boys, we're going to have some fun and get a little crazy. So guys, faces. Catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great weekend.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.